Thank you. Just waiting for Jason to find a seat.
Yeah.
Okay, it is 1 o'clock, Tuesday, July 16th. Madam Clerk, do we have a quorum?
Yes, Mayor.
All right, first up, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Commissioner Unruh.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So bow our heads. Father, we come to this day. We are so grateful for each and everything that you are doing for us in the city. We ask that you keep residents safe during the extreme heat. And Father, just remind us to check on our neighbors and also our pets. Father, we ask that you protect our first responders. And Father, we're so grateful that you are moving mightily in everything that they do. We lift up the leaders of the city, of our county, and of our state, and of our nation, and ask for your divine protection and guidance for them. Father, keep each and every candidate safe, Father, who is running for election, and we thank you for the courage of each and every one of these men and women. Father, help us to be teachable and humbly guide our city today. Thank you for the wisdom, and Father, we're so grateful that you're moving mightily in this commission meeting. We give you glory and honor for every blessing. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Unruh. So the next item, we'll have the approval of the minutes of the last regular meeting. So if there's no corrections, we'll stand approved. Seeing none, those will stand. Now at this time, it's the public comment session. So anybody in the audience wishes to speak on items not on the agenda this afternoon, we ask that you come to the mic, state your name for the record, and you'll have 5 minutes. Don't see anybody making their way up, so we'll go to the next item.
Item 6A, and I think, Mayor, you said you were going to step away on this one. Item 6A, the governing body is asked to consider a waiver of the zoning regulations, section 23-040B4, 23-100A6, also section 23.100A5.d, also 23-100A5.I, 23.100B6, as well as 23.100B5D, and also 23.100B5I, all related, all those code sections related to signs and outdoor advertising, pertaining to a request for a sign placement at 101 East Fulton Street, Garden City, Kansas. Dante.
Good afternoon. Excelicare Physical Therapy is requesting a waiver of the 8 sections listed in the resolution to allow for one 20-foot by 3-foot monument-style sign at 101 East Fulton Street. The building at 101 East Fulton Street has a double building frontage on Main Street to the west and Fulton Street to the south. The building has several wall-mounted signs that face both streets, a monument sign at the corner of Main Street and Fulton Street, and a parking lot to the south. The applicant is proposing to set the monument-style sign along the Main Street frontage, which will also be visible from Fulton Street. The proposed location is approximately 5 feet away from the west property line and approximately 20 feet away from the parking stalls along Main Street. Signs permitted by section 23.100 of the zoning regulations include A-frame signs, projecting signs, wall signs, name signs, and window signs. However, monument-style signs are not permitted within the C3 Central Business District. Section 23.100A applies to structures or buildings within the C3 district that are close to the property line. This section states that a sign shall not exceed 25 feet in height, but this section does not specify monument signs, and as a result, this section does not provide limits to the total square footage of monument signs. The height of the proposed sign is 3 feet, which is within the maximum height of 25 feet as allowed by this section. Monument signs that are permitted within the other zoning districts shall not be greater than 30 feet wide and 15 feet tall. Section 23.100B applies to structures or buildings within the C3 district that have a setback of 25 feet or more. This section states that a sign shall not exceed 25 feet in height, and the total gross surface area of the signs shall not exceed 3 times the linear street frontage of the lot. The building is built to the property line along Main Street, similar to the majority of other structures within the C3 business district. The building has a setback greater than 25 feet along Fulton Street, similar to structures within the other commercial districts within the city. Due to the double street frontage of the lot and the setbacks of the building, both sections 23.100A and 23.100B of the zoning regulations apply. The total linear feet of the Main Street frontage is 137 feet, allowing a maximum of 411 square feet of signage. The existing monument sign and one wall sign that faces Main Street has a total square footage of approximately 82 square feet. The proposed sign is approximately 60 square feet, so together the existing and proposed signs do not exceed the maximum square footage allowed on the Main Street frontage. The total linear feet of the Fulton Street frontage is 140 feet, allowing a maximum of 420 square feet of signage. The square footage of the existing 3 wall signs and the existing monument sign that face Fulton Street is approximately 117 square feet. The proposed sign is approximately 60 square feet together, and together the existing and proposed signs do not exceed the maximum allowed on the Fulton Street frontage. Listed in the staff report are the specific sections of the zoning regulations and a further explanation to which are being the waiver request. If approved, the sign would need to be required to be installed by a licensed sign installer and comply with all building codes. There are 2 alternatives in front of you. The governing body may approve the waiver request, or 2, the governing body may not approve the waiver request, and staff has no recommendation. The applicant is here, and I'm happy to answer any questions or go through any of the specific sections that you guys have any questions about.
Does this impede visibility at all on Main Street from either way?
No, it's set back adjacent to the building, so it's not any further to the road or further closer.
So where it's located now is where it would just be placed anyway?
Yeah.
So with that photo, it's going to look exactly pretty much like that, where it's going to.
It'll have a permanent base to it, and it'll be affixed to the ground. Otherwise, it'll be in just about that place.
And will it be lit then?
There is interior illumination, yes.
Yeah, Vice Mayor, I move that we approve the waiver request.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion on that item?
I have a question. Do you know what will happen to the old monument that's facing Fulton?
To my knowledge, there's no plans to remove any of the signs that are on the property, so they will all stay.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mayor, Commissioner, or Commissioners, good afternoon. So this was put in the form of a resolution, so I believe we need to assign a resolution number to it. And the purpose of that is just so, mainly for tracking purposes, we can have it filed at the Register of Deeds. That way it's on file for everyone.
Do we have a resolution number?
So do we waive it at this meeting and then do a resolution at the next meeting? Because we're currently waiving at this moment, we're currently waiving all of the sections of the ordinance pertaining to this, all of the signage, but this sign to be placed on the property.
We do have it prepared in resolution form.
Right, I didn't know if we had a resolution number, but.
Do we have a resolution form?
Yep.
The document attaches a resolution form.
It's really slow in opening, but.
Do we first waive it and then approve the resolution, is what I'm thinking? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Just so
I'm just checking with legal counsel. Is that what we need to do? Okay.
Yes. Yes, please
Okay.
do that.
Just so I understand, we'll waive it now, and then at a later date provide resolution, or?
No, there's a resolution attached, so
Right,
we'll
so we
approve
can
the
do, we can do that
resolution.
first, so.
Well, we need to waive.
Waive first, and then we can do the resolution
Right.
second, right?
Any other discussion or questions?
Nope.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? None being? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That item passes. Do we have a resolution number?
It would be 3116-2024.
Vice Mayor, I
Entertain
approve
a
that we,
motion. Okay.
yeah, I move that we approve resolution number 3116, waiver of the zoning requirements at 101 East Fulton Street.
There's been a motion to approve Resolution 3116-2014, or 2024. Is there a second?
I second.
There's been a second. Any discussion on that item? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That item passed.
Item 6B, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request.
Let's get the mayor back in.
Item 6B, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Cortez Rosales to waive the sign ordinance and right-of-way restrictions to have a banner placed at 3rd Street and Kansas Avenue, Fleming Street and Mary Street fence, and the West Zoo fence from July 22nd through 29th, 2024 for the Community Health Fair event.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. This is similar to events that have been presented to you at the last couple of meetings. This is, as City Manager Allen stated, a sign waiver request. We did add in the background that per the City of Garden City zoning regulation, section 23.08G2, banner signs are prohibited. The applicant has requested to have those at 3rd and Kansas, Fleming and Mary, and the West Zoo fence. So we're bringing that before you for your approval or denial. But we just wanted to put that message in there that they technically are prohibited in that zoning area. If you have any questions, I can help.
But we've approved requests like this before for those locations, correct?
Correct, yes.
Mayor, move we approve the request to waive the sign ordinance and right-of-way restrictions to place a banner at 3rd Street and Kansas Avenue, Fleming and Mary Street fence, and the West Zoo fence from July 22nd through the 29th, 2024.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
And Mayor, I'll be stepping down for the next items.
Okay. All right.
Item 6C, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Brenda Unruh to waive the sign ordinance to have a banner placed at 3rd Street and Kansas Avenue from August 5th through 12th, 2024 for the back-to-school backpack bash.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is a similar request. Turning Point Church of Nazarene has requested to have a sign placed at 3rd and Kansas Avenue. Again, these banner signs are actually prohibited, but we'd like to bring that before you to ask, or they would like to bring that before you to ask for a waiver to allow that sign to be placed. Their event is, I believe it's August 10th is the actual date of their event. But our Parks Department actually goes out on Mondays to change the signs up.
Mayor, I move to approve the request to waive the sign ordinance to place a banner at 3rd Street and Kansas Avenue from August 5th to the 12th, 2024 for the back-to-school backpack bash.
I second.
There's been a first,
Go ahead.
second. Any further discussion?
I guess it's on all, the third in Kansas, and it was like on the other one and all the other events, we've got a place to place banners, but then we're waiving ordinances to, I guess maybe we need to probably look at something on how to change this instead of having these come, especially if we've put a placeholder, I don't know, I'm talking out of order on trying to look at change this because we've got a place to put banners there. We're going to have a lot more of these coming to us all the time to waive this for that specific location. Just something to think about.
Mayor, if I could. Actually, that is why on August 6th, we will be presenting at the pre-meeting on our special meetings process, and that is one of the items that we will be discussing.
Thank you.
Presenting to you, so yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other discussion? So we do have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed, 4-0. 1, sorry. All right, item 6D.
The governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Angelica Chapel to waive the sign ordinance to have banners placed at 3rd Street and Kansas Avenue and Security State Bank from September 9th through 16th, 2024 for the Community Mexican Fiesta.
Again, similar to the two previous ones presented to you today, however, the City of Garden City zoning regulations, there's two different sections that this applies to. One, 3rd in Kansas, that would apply to section 23-080G2, and the second is section 23-090F. That one applies to a vacant lot. So the security savings, it's actually the lot adjacent to what was formerly Valley State Bank and is now Security State Bank, but owned by Security State Bank.
I move we approve the request to waive the sign ordinance to place banners at 3rd Street and Kansas Avenue, Fleming Street and Kansas Avenue, and Security State Bank from September 9th through 16th, 2024 for the Community Mexican Fiesta.
Second.
There's been a first and second, and any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Item 6E, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a request from Leandro Rodriguez, Downtown Vision, to waive the sign ordinance to have a banner sign placed on the northwest side of Stevens Park from September 16th through 23rd for Fall Fest.
Very similar, just a different section of the zoning regulations, section 23.100C3. I do believe that is regarding parks or city-owned facilities, but I could stand to be corrected by NDS department. But same situation, that is actually a city sign space, similar to the Friends and Frogs at 3rd in Kansas. So that would be also up for discussion at our August 6th pre-meeting.
Mayor, I move that we approve the request to waive the sign ordinance to place a banner on the northwest side of Stevens Park from September 16th through the 23rd, 2024 for Fall Fest.
I second.
Okay, there's been a first and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed. Thank you.
Item 7A.
Hey, Mayor, we do have a public hearing at 1:15 that we probably need to address.
Okay. Let's skip on down to item 10A for that public hearing. Thank you.
Item 10A, the public hearing for consideration to amend the development plan and extending the duration of the reinvestment housing incentive district for Lost River Addition Phase 1 by ordinances brought before the governing body. Ordinance number 2983-2024 would be the appropriate ordinance number if after the conclusion of the public hearing, the governing body would like to make a motion to approve.
Mayor and
Commissioners, as required by the RHAD statute, the Lost River Addition Phase 1 development comes before the governing body to adopt the attached development plan. Lost River Addition Phase 1 is generally located at the 1500 through the 1700 block of Stonebridge Lane. This development will consist of 37 lots in which assignment developer Spear Construction Inc. intends to provide lots to build single-family homes. This is a current RHID, and the original date of the public hearing was June 15th, 2021. This agreement removes WBG Investments LLC as the developer and it assigns Spear Construction Inc. as the new developer. Based on the feasibility study, the $4,275,351 will actually be recouped by year 23, potentially. Therefore, we are asking today for the maximum of the 25-year period. According to our current community housing assessment team study, to meet our housing needs, we need to build 1,395 units by 2023. And the governing body set a goal of 4,000 units by 2030. From 2020 to 2023, 198 units have been completed and 18 RHAD units in 2024. According to our chat study and the rate of housing development, Garden City shows a need for units to be built within this development. If this ordinance is adopted, the Board of County Commissioners and USD 457 as taxing entities will have 30 days in which to evaluate the proposed RHAD. Should a taxing entity determine it has an adverse effect on their jurisdiction, then the taxing entity will need to adopt a resolution stating such. If no such resolutions are passed, then the ordinance shall be in effect. If within that time frame any taxing entities pass such resolution, then the city will need to take action and repeal the ordinance as required by state statute. Your alternatives today are the governing body may approve the attached ordinance, or the governing body may not approve the attached ordinance. And I will note, during the review of the development agreement, there were a couple minor changes. So if you choose to approve the ordinance, we would ask that you approve it with those minor edits. So with that, if you have questions, paralegal would be happy to answer those questions on what those minor edits are. For the fiscal note, the developer will be using private financing to fund the eligible costs of the RHAD. The city will reimburse property tax increments to the developer over the life of the RHAD, which is up to 25 years. The amount of the property tax distributions cannot exceed $4,275,351.
So Alicia, I read through it and I wasn't sure. So has there been anything paid out to the previous developer of the RHAD? So then basically the full amount, that's why you're asking for the full amount to be available. And that's that. It's over that 3.49 million is available?
It's the $4,275,351
Okay.
would be the amount.
Alicia, the 30-day review by the other taxing entities, it identifies the Board of County Commissioners and USD 457, but do the other taxing jurisdictions impacted by this property also have the same 30-day review period?
My understanding is only those two have the ability to pass a resolution that if it does have the adverse effect, then they can state so. The other taxing entities, we are required to notify them, but they don't have the same ability as USD 457 and the county, I'm sorry.
It'd be good to get this property moving again and then to add additional housing, so. Yeah, I move that we approve ordinance number 2983. Do I need to read the whole thing, or?
No.
I second.
Okay, there's been a first and seconded to approve the ordinance number 2983-2024. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 7A, Fire Chief Ursick and Police Chief Pruitt will present the 2024 fireworks report.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Chief Britton, I'm here to present the 2024 fireworks report. Just like previous years, it started with a kind of a social media campaign, trying to get the information out, rules, regulations, the do's and don'ts of the fireworks. Through that process, we go to the next slide. We're able to have 1,000 community contacts were made in 2024 by both departments, and thanks to the communications department coming up with the education material along with the PIOs from fire and PD and getting that information out, starting mid to late June and carrying it through the 5th of July. Through that social media campaign, the total engagement online was around 116,000 people. The rules, regulations, and the information needed.
On this slide, you see some of the, this is the trending of our fireworks violation, nothing out of the ordinary. And that's going to be a common theme on this presentation, is nothing out of the ordinary.
And ours is on the fire side of the fireworks related incidents. As you can see, there's kind of down from previous years. Much to the fact that the moisture and the humidity were up, and that week prior to fireworks was about perfect. So kind of tracking through the 7 townships that we protect in the fire department, 0 calls this year. Everybody's remained safe. No major fires that were breaking out in the uncut wheat fields and the cut wheat fields. So.
And this was the first year that the county allowed them to be done, to be fired off or whatever in the county? Was this the first year they had allowed that?
So the recommendation prior to the approval of the waiver ordinance, we requested to a preliminary ban on fireworks out of the county, allow the sale, but to ban the discharge. With the moisture that we received and kind of tracking the growth and the overgrowth in the county, recommendation this year was to have the discharge in the county.
And they did that?
They did that.
Okay, yeah.
This is a breakdown of by day of the fireworks violations that we encountered. Really, the only thing that spike is on the 4th. We had a lot more police officers out, so we had a lot more self-initiated violations being dealt with that day. So.
On the fire side, tracking through firework by day, firework related incident by day. As you can see, the 4th and the 5th were the only days that we had firework related calls. So a lot of those dumpster fires.
This is just kind of a heat map of where the violations occurred within the city. And then the considerations that we're going to go through, these didn't change from last year. Really, the social media campaign that we had going on and the joint patrolling that we do every year, it's hugely beneficial. That education piece, getting out and talking to the fireworks stands and pushing stuff out on social media is hugely beneficial and helps us out quite a bit. This year, the 3I parking lot, or the fairgrounds parking lot, was extremely busy. We got to see a cricket game being played by some folks down there, and so it was a very interesting mix, and it's probably the busiest I've seen it. The road construction on the Main Street Bridge helped us and hurt us on the traffic flow leaving the parking lot there, but we were able to get people out pretty quickly and pretty safely. We didn't have any incidents. So additional barricades, and I know that it's kind of tough. Both traffic and streets, they help us out quite a bit with cones and barricades, but because of block parties and that type of thing, it's really few and far between. So that's one of the things that we use our car, and we used our sign that we bought to kind of help out with some of that. So again, the patrolling by both PD and fire helped out quite a bit, and the staffing levels this year was a little bit, for the PD side of the house, was a little bit shy for the fireworks show. And we had to do a little bit of adjustment with where we put traffic control points. We typically try to push everybody as far north as we can before we let them disperse into the city, and so we had to adjust a little bit on that just because of staffing. And then finally, just the discussion on discharge dates and dates of sale. I'm going to tell you, and hopefully Chief Ursic says the same thing. Everybody does. It doesn't really matter when but being able to shoot them when they are being sold is kind of what we prefer. because then we don't have to deal with people buying fireworks and being very, very tempted to shoot them when they shouldn't be. So pending any questions, or we would be happy to address anything that you guys might know about.
And really, the sales part of it is probably the county side, because you can't sell fireworks within the city limits of Garden City. And might be something to bring up with the county. I understand that the state statute says June 27th through July 5th, but the county can regulate that from their aspect.
And a lot of people have commented, they thought that, they didn't realize that we had shrunk the time that you could actually, shoot the fireworks off in the city. So when you explain that to them, then that's almost like, okay, I'm going to let it go rather than, be concerned about it. But it still is that idea of fireworks. I think for some people, it's a really great time, and other people, it's people and pets. I think it's really hard on them. So I think the 1st to the 5th is really a good time frame. I know that the sale happens earlier, but honestly, I heard very few before the time. So I thought you did a really good job as far as policing all of that. So
Again, keep up the good work.
yeah.
Thanks for the report, guys.
Thank you.
Item 7B, Neighborhood and Development Services Director Maxwell will present the code enforcement update for 2024.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. The reports before you are from January 1st to July 1st of this year. Of the reports, the totals and violations found were 1,905 violations. Of the 1,905 violations, 1,483 were brought into by voluntary compliance, and the remaining are going through the process. If you have any questions on individual reports, the first one being the map, that is the red area in which our enforcement officer has surveyed that entire block, and any of the 1905 that have been found within the red areas. The pie-shaped report is just how we received them, where they came from. And then the last one is individual properties and the type of instances or violations that they have.
Just from the kind of the heat map or the colored map, it's interesting to see there's certain sections that are more prevalent than others in the community with violations, it looks like. But and maybe there's an educational process or something that we could possibly do to help with those areas or something. I don't know. It just seemed, it was interesting to see. It was a good report, but just interesting to see where the kind of the heat map of the violations kind of portrayed in our community.
And if you remember from the last one, it's similar locations to we did the report last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we can figure out ways to do custom education.
And weeds with the increased moisture, which I'm really grateful for, has been a real issue. And I know a lot of people, when you don't usually have things that can cut down these huge weeds, when you let them get out of hand. But I know that that's something, hopefully, I know that you're, helping them rectify the situation. But I know that we are more than patient, so we appreciate that.
Thank you for the report. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Items 7C through 7E are written staff reports, monthly updates. If there's any questions on those, staff would stand ready to answer.
Just got the update on the airport emplanements. Another good month for that. Just with all the additional emplanements with the new terminal and the bigger aircraft, we might need to look at additional parking space for the airport. I know I've been out there a couple of times and the parking lot looks pretty full where our current parking is, so it might be something that we look at, as part of the capital improvement project.
Yes.
Hi, Rochelle.
Hello. So we do have an overflow parking at this point, which is dirt, and the laydown yard that Crossland Construction left, which is very, very rocky. material, but that is part of our budget process, is looking at an addition for the parking lot. You are correct, it gets very full very fast, so.
Are there grants for those kind of things like parking lots, or is that something that we as a city would have to do?
Yeah,
Okay.
it would be city funds for that.
Because I think if you had long-term parking when you're going to be gone longer than, a couple of days, or that would be nice to have a long-term parking lot.
Yeah, there's different planning projects for airport parking and separating rental cars from passenger cars and long-term parking. And we have a lot of semis that come out and park, and then the drivers travel back home for a couple weeks. So especially during the holidays, we fill up with quite large tractors. Sometimes they have trailers with them too. So it is a problem that we're dealing with and trying to do the best we can until we have the funding for an additional parking lot project.
Well, I think the free parking is a huge draw. I mean, a lot of people comment on the free parking, and even if you go to Wichita or anywhere else, it's extremely expensive. So, I mean, the free parking, I think, is a huge draw for us. So hopefully we can keep it.
Yes.
It's a good problem to have where we have hardly any parking spaces because people are using our airport to travel to their destinations, but just something to keep our eye on as we continue to increase employments and have more people traveling out of the airport. Thank you. Thanks.
I did have one other question, not on zoo. Sorry. I was asked if there was any opportunities for buying the bricks that get laid into the grounds out there. There was, I thought, options for the carousel area on brick placement there. I don't know if there's any spaces left or any bricks left to buy, or if that was ever in a report for when that's going to happen, or if that's available for them.
The Friends of Lee Richardson Zoo have offerings for those bricks, so they just need to contact their office.
Okay, all right. So there are still available bricks to get placed out there?
I believe so.
Okay.
Jessica would have that specific answer.
All right. I didn't know either, so I said I'll ask and see if there are. So appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Item 7F is an update from Cox Communications regarding channel lineups pursuant to their agreement with the city. Item 8 is meetings of note. If any of those require RSVPs, please do those through the city clerk's office. I think we are now ready for item 9, which is the appropriation ordinance. If approved, it would be ordinance number 2567-2024A.
Mayor, I move that we approve appropriation ordinance number 2567-2024A.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Item 10B, the governing body is asked to consider and approve an ordinance rezoning from agriculture to C2 General Commercial District for the property generally located at the west half of Section 3, Township 24, Range 32 West, Garden City, Kansas. If approved, this would be ordinance number 2984-2024.
Good afternoon. Lucky for Investment is requesting to rezone the property generally located at the west half of Section 3, Township 24, Range 32 West, from A Agricultural District to C2 General Commercial District. The property being rezoned contains plus or minus 34.43 acres and is currently vacant. The property was annexed into the city on November 15th of 2022. The property owner intends to develop this property as a commercial development. The proposed land use is consistent with the comprehensive plan. The current comprehensive plan and future land use map has this property categorized as commercial potential. C2 General Commercial District will be the most appropriate zoning district for commercial development. There are no current plans as of now. Rezoning the property will not affect any of the surrounding properties. The governing body may make their determination according to the criteria in section 27.040, items A through I, down below in the staff report. There are 3 alternatives before you today. 1, the governing body may adopt the planning commission's recommendation by approving the proposed ordinance. 2, the governing body may override the planning commission's recommendation by a 2/3 majority vote. 3, the governing body may return the recommendation to the planning commission with a statement specifying the basis for the governing body's failure to approve or disapprove. The planning commission recommended approval of the rezone request at the June 20, 2024 meeting. Staff recommends adopting the planning commission's recommendation by approving the proposed ordinance. And we do have the applicant here too, if there's any questions.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2984-2024.
I second.
Okay, it's been a first and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Item 10C, the governing body is asked to consider and approve an ordinance rezoning from agriculture to R3 multifamily for the property generally located at the west half of Section 3, Township 24, Range 32 West, Garden City. If approved, it would be ordinance number 2985-2024.
This is in the same location, just north of it. So the applicant is requesting to rezone the property from A agricultural district to R3 multiple family residential district. The property being rezoned contains plus or minus 63 acres and is currently vacant. The property was annexed into the city on November 15th, 2022. The property owner intends to develop this property for multi-family housing in the future. The proposed land use is consistent with the comprehensive plan. The current comprehensive plan and future land use map has this property categorized as residential potential. R3 multiple family residential district will be the most appropriate zoning district for multi-family housing. Rezoning the property will not affect any of the surrounding properties. The governing body may make their determination according to the criteria in section 27.040, items A through I, listed in the staff report. There are 3 alternatives before you today. The governing body may adopt the planning commission's recommendation by approving the proposed ordinance. 2, the governing body may override the planning commission's recommendation by a 2/3 majority vote. And 3, the governing body may return the recommendation to the planning commission with a statement specifying the basis for the governing body's failure to approve or disapprove. Planning Commission recommended approval of the rezoning request at the June 20th, 2024 meeting. Staff recommends adopting the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving the proposed ordinance.
Mayor, I move that we adopt the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving ordinance number 2985-2024.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Item 10D, the governing body is asked to consider and approve an ordinance rezoning from RC, Condominium Townhouse District, to C2, General Commercial District with a planned commercial development overlay district for the property generally located at 1801 Palace Drive. If approved, it would be ordinance number 2986-2024.
Hawkeye Development is requesting to rezone the property generally located at 1801 Palace Drive from RC Condominium Townhouse District to C2 General Commercial District with a PCD Planned Commercial Development Overlay District. The property is currently vacant and contains plus or minus 5.7 acres. The owner intends to phase this development into 3 phases. The first phase being a plus or minus 62 unit apartment building. Phase 2 will consist of a commercial building, and phase 3 will be a mixed-use development of commercial and residential. The proposed land use is consistent with the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan and future land use map has this property categorized as mixed-use potential. C2 General Commercial District with a PCD overlay would be the most appropriate zoning district for a mixed-use development. This project is also going through the planning process and will need to go through the site plan review process for the entire development. The developer intends to use a reinvestment housing incentive district for phase 1. Rezoning the property will not affect any of the surrounding properties. The governing body may make their determination according to the criteria in section 27.040, items A through I. There are 3 alternatives before you today. 1, the governing body may adopt the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving the proposed ordinance. 2, the governing body may override the Planning Commission's recommendation by a 2/3 majority vote. And 3, the governing body may return the recommendation to the Planning Commission with a statement specifying the basis for the governing body's failure to approve or disapprove. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the rezoning request and the PCD plan. The staff recommends adopting the Planning Commission's recommendation by approving the proposed ordinance.
This project has really garnered a lot of attention, and people are really excited about it. Something, it'll be unique to Garden City. Probably all the western Kansas, but being the regional hub. So.
Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance 2986-2024.
I second.
There's been a first and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 10E, the governing body is asked to consider and approve the rezoning request for property generally located at 1914 Buffalo Jones Avenue, Garden City, Kansas. If approved, it would be ordinance number 2987-2024.
The applicant is requesting to rezone the property generally located at 1914 Buffalo Jones Ave from C2 General Commercial District to I2 Medium Industrial District. The property currently contains approximately 0.34 acres with one building located. The owner intends to board dogs at this location. However, dog kennels, including boarding, is not a permitted use within the C2 General Commercial District. The owner intends to construct dog kennels outside the existing building with chain link fencing. The proposed land use is not consistent with the comprehensive plan. The current comprehensive plan / future land use plan has this property categorized as mixed-use potential, which generally consists of residential and commercial uses. However, the surrounding zoning districts are a combination of commercial, light, medium, and heavy industrial districts. I2 Medium Industrial District will be the most appropriate zoning district for this use, as dog kennels, including boarding, are permitted use within this zoning district. Rezoning the property will not affect any of the surrounding property owners. The governing body may make its their determination according to the criteria in section 27.040 as listed in the memo. There are three alternatives in front of you. The governing body may adopt the planning commission's recommendation by approving the proposed ordinance. 2, the governing body may override the planning commission's recommendation by a 2/3 majority vote. Or 3, the governing body may make its recommendation, may return the recommendation to the planning commission with a statement specifying the basis for the governing body's failure to approve or disapprove. The planning commission recommended approval of the rezoning request at the June 20th, 2024 meeting, and staff recommends adopting the planning commission's recommendation by approving the proposed ordinance. Happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
I think this is a great business, and I'll tell you, it's something that's really needed, so I'm really excited that this is coming and that you're doing it. So I just have a question. When you talk about not impeding on any of the neighbors, so how do you, because I mean, 30 dogs actually, well, they'll make noise, or so how do you, so what's the thinking behind that?
We base that determination on the surrounding properties. They're consistent with other industrial uses and commercial uses. So we base that off of similar uses that are adjacent or within the area of this property.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2987-2024.
Second.
Okay, it's been first and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Item 12A, the governing body is asked to consider and approve an increase to membership, cart, and green fees at Buffalo Dunes Golf Course to take effect January 1st, 2025.
Mayor, Commissioners, nice to see you this afternoon. Buffalo Dunes has not had any rate adjustments in these 4 areas for over 8 years. Staff, along with Buffalo Dunes Advisory Board, is recommending the governing body adjust these rates to help offset the rising cost of doing business and providing one of the best golf experiences in the Midwest. The attached spreadsheet with the percentage increase has been included for your review. Following a review and discussion with Buffalo Dunes Advisory Board and a random selection of golf patrons, the following adjustments were recommended.
Still great rates to
I agree.
do a round of golf.
They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're very, I checked a couple of other, and they're very competitive. I mean, and I think you've been very judicious and really concentrating on how much you raise, and so making it very, very affordable. But there's several other golf courses that are not half what we have, are much more expensive, and so.
Absolutely. I guess the alternatives, the governing body may approve the new proposed rate increases as written above. The governing body may not approve requests. Number 3, the governing body may direct golf professional Jason Hayes in a different direction. Recommendation, the Buffalo Dunes Advisory Board and staff recommend that the governing body approve the new proposed rate increases. And on a physical note, this will have an approximate, will generate about $190,000 in revenue.
Mayor, I make the motion, we approve the increase as presented.
Okay, second.
So Jason, I had a question. Oh, sorry. I'll wait till after.
Wait for comments. So there's been a first and second. Any further discussion?
Well, no, I just had a question that's not pertaining to this vote, but I was supposed to kind of ask since he was here. So.
I just had I guess a comment. 8 years is kind of a long time between looking at adjusting fees. Maybe if we could do this like every other year, just to kind of keep up with inflation and that type of thing, and industry. And like you were saying, we are adjusting now because of the increase of everything. Might be something to look at every other year, or maybe annually even, just to make sure we're kind of in the ballpark with the other golf courses around or other places.
Yes, sir. I would agree with that.
Are there golf courses that you look at when you compare your rates? Or, because I know that Hutchinson's the one that's, I think, is most, up to our standard, but I didn't know which golf courses you look at. Or
The golf courses that we kind of compared ourselves to were obviously Wichita, their facilities, Pueblo, Colorado, Colorado Springs, Dodge is kind of our sister city, so we look at that. And we're well within the city of Pueblo and the city of Wichita. Their fees are actually higher than ours on our gold membership, and they don't include car fees or range. So we do a phenomenal job of providing great service.
I agree.
Any other questions? So we did have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion pass.
Keep up the good work. Thank you for all you do.
I just had a question about the natural grass. I know you've been turning back some of that, the native grasses, and I just wondered how it's going. I hadn't been out there in a while to look.
It's going really well.
Okay.
And I would invite all the commissioners and even the community to come out, because we are starting phase 4, or phase 5 of the renovation, and it's going to have some pretty cool changes. It's pretty exciting just to see them finally start kind of moving some dirt and stuff, and it's exciting times at Buffalo News. It's always exciting.
Yeah, it's always busy,
Yes.
so yeah. Nice. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 12B, the governing body is asked to consider and approve a bid from Lee Construction for $938,000 to construct public water supply well number 32.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. At the January 18th, 2022 meeting of the governing body, we approved the design services for the replacement of 2 public water supply wells. Today, we're asking you to approve a bid from Lee Construction Incorporated to construct a new well for one of the 2 wells that we've designed that will replace Sandhills Well Number 1. Sandhills Well Number 1 is an important well to the city, and Sandhills Well Field is authorized for 808 acre-feet of water and has been in service since 1981. Elevated levels of nitrate that we found at the well indicated that the construction of the well was not adequate to protect the well from nitrates that are occurring in the aquifer due to the design of the well. The design of the new well included test well drilling from Downey Drilling Incorporated to drill a series of test wells to determine the construction of a new well to avoid the influence of nitrates at shallow depths. Downey also worked with PEC's contract geologist to develop a water well design to incorporate into the overall project design. There's a drilling aspect to this project and a construction aspect as well. So water samples and geophysical logging were also incorporated in the test well data gathering. In addition to the construction of the well, the project will also include a more robust plugging and abandonment procedure for Sandhills Well Number 1. This is required to ensure that the well does not serve as a conduit for contaminants to the new well. The information that was included in the overall project design was submitted to KDHE for permitting and has been approved. Due to the need to quickly restore a reliable water well for the city water supply, the city pre-selected Downey Drilling Incorporated to construct the well and plug in abandoned Sand Hills well number 1. This ensures that the project is completed by the end of the year. The bid received from Lee Construction is for their services as a general contractor for the project and to construct the needed improvements to connect the new well to city infrastructure. No other bids were received by the city. In addition to designing and permitting this project, the city staff have also received approval from the Division of Water Resources to relocate the well. Substantial completion of this project, if approved, is scheduled for 120 days, which staff anticipates would be mid-December 2024. The construction of this well will be helpful in ensuring multiple sources of water to ensure a reliable water supply for the city. The alternatives, the governing body may choose to approve the bid from Lee Construction Incorporated to construct public water supply well number 32 for $938,000. The governing body may choose not to approve the bid from Lee Construction Incorporated. Staff recommends that the governing body approve the bid from Lee Construction Incorporated to construct the public water supply well number 32 for $938,000. As a fiscal note, if the project, if approved by the governing body, will be added to the 2024 revised budget, which will be adopted and will impact the anticipated 2025 ending cash balance of $3,490,129 by decreasing it, the amount of the project bid. And attached to the memo is the letter from the engineer explaining their procurement, bid advertising process, a bid tabulation for the project, and then there's also a notice of award that, if approved, will be signed.
I know in these kind of situations, it's more specialty, but as far as just a single bid, was there a reason no one else bid? Is it just something that's...
So the pre-selection of the well driller probably has an impact on the bidding. The other issue is there's just not a tremendous amount of work to be done in addition to the well. So there's piping, there's connection to the system. This well will actually be a submersible style well. We're not constructing a new well house with this project. We're going to retrofit the existing Sand Hills number 1 site and reutilize the ability to chlorinate there rather than reconstructing that. But there's new electrical work and things of that nature that are required that are pretty costly. So it was an effort to kind of reduce the overall cost of the project and also reutilize some perfectly good infrastructure that we have already out there.
Yeah, appreciate that.
The purpose, the pre-selection was based to kind of ensure that we had a slot and that we could get the entire project done in the project days we have allocated for this.
Yeah, I move that we approve the bid from Lee Construction Incorporated to construct the public water supply well number 32 for $938,000.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 12C, the governing body is asked to consider and approve the opening solicitation for the new community park in Southeast Garden City.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. The City of Garden City's Parks and Recreation Department is inviting the public to suggest names for the new Southeast Community Park located at 328 Susan Street. This is in the southeast quadrant of the city that they've been working on for a while. The park is set to open early 2025, and the city will soon be completing signage and begin programming and marketing for the park. As such, staff requests that governing body consider establishing a formal name for said park. There are a couple of ways the governing body could go about naming this park. One is for the governing body to discuss and decide itself at this meeting and or at a future meeting ideas of naming the park, and by a motion second and majority approval to determine the name of the park. The alternative is to actively engage the public and solicit input. If you wish to choose this method, staff has prepared the governing body's consideration form and process for soliciting possible names from the public. Members of the public who are interested can submit the completed suggestion form for naming the new community park, which I've attached here. They can submit that to myself, Park Superintendent Nolan Till. Completed forms are due by Friday, August 9th. Can be dropped off in person at our office, which is the Parks office at 106 South 11th Street. They can mail it into P.O. Box 998 or email it to myself at nolan.till@gardencityks.us. All these submissions will be reviewed by staff and the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, as we have a meeting coming up in a few weeks. And then a short list of names will be presented to you, the city commissioners, for the park naming selection on August 20th, 2024 at the city commission meeting. So give us about a month. There are examples of both these methods having been used to name parks and facilities in the past. So a couple alternatives for you. The governing body may approve the form, solicitation, and selection process for the park name suggestions from the public. And then the second alternative, the governing body may discuss among itself naming ideas and decide at this meeting or a future meeting of the name of the park. The staff recommends the governing body approve the process by which it will name the Southeast Park area. No official name.
So does this park, or like this location, I know the land, I mean, was it donated or was it dedicated, or is there any history about the land itself? If there is, I don't know it, but I didn't know if you knew any history about the land or.
I might defer to Matt on that one because it's been quite the process. And
yeah, it's a great location. And
it was purchased in conjunction with a water right, I believe, about 20 years ago.
Wow.
And then traded because of projected floodplain influence with a neighboring property owner that would kind of serve two purposes: give them sufficient acreage to develop outside the floodplain and without any loss to the acreage of the park. It also allowed the connectivity of the park back to the soccer field park area, which is just west of Charlestone's Intermediate Center. So it actually allowed for a better kind of park configuration and to spread via a trail and give the park a little bit more character than just a rectangle.
Darcy Park is what that connection.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't know if there was what the history was, and so I appreciate that history. So.
Mayor, move we approve the form, solicitation, and selection process for park name suggestions from the public.
I second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? I just kind of always wondered, how do you get your name on a park? So this is one way I can put my name in. Is that? I'm kidding, but yeah, I think getting the community involved and engaging them in the process, that's a great idea. So I appreciate the efforts on getting this put together. So that's all I had. Any
We'll
other?
have our communication department do social media, we'll put it on the website just to give them access to those people.
Yeah, and I think the history of that, if it could be kind of elaborated on that, when it was bought, traded, whatever. So
yeah, when they did the naming, the pool, that was a really fun process, seeing how the pool came about. There was some really great names too, and I think the public is we have some very creative people in our community. So,
yep. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nolan.
Item 13A is the entirety of the consent agenda.
Wow.
It's all the contractor license, so if the appropriate motion would be to approve consent agenda item 13A.
Mayor, I move that we approve consent agenda item A.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
We're ready for commissioner reports.
All right, so we'll wrap it up with the commissioner reports, starting with Commissioner Unruh.
So I just wanted to remind everyone that these meetings are live, and so, but you can also watch them after the fact, and so it's really a lot of really good information. I appreciate a lot of the organizations in our community who offer, the ability to view those. Sometimes it doesn't work for your schedule, and I know a lot of people are working during these hours, but it is available online, and so I just have to remind myself, sometimes if you miss a meeting, that you can go back and do that. I also, with the incredibly high temperatures, I know that just to be checking on neighbors and also, pets, especially pets that are kept outside, I'm going to tell you that, water is a lifesaver. I mean, we had a really great pre-meeting about water, and it's going to become more and more important. And I know that we're spending some dollars on water, but I mean, it's vital to our community and also just our way of life. But checking on neighbors, making sure, fans are a great way if you want to make an investment in a neighbor, and a fan can change the temperature in a house tremendously. So just check on your neighbors and also the pets. I really appreciated, a lot of the things that are happening in our community, the growth and all of the opportunities to build houses. I'll tell you, that's the way that we're going to get to the 4,000. Is it 2030 is what we're shooting for? 2030, so yeah, but the 4,000 in housing. And really the last thing, I did get to go to the Garden Rapids at the big, I always call it the big pool still, but I'm going to tell you, it is such a blast, even though the lazy river is absolutely packed with people laughing and having fun. But seeing how it's utilized and how many people are attending there is tremendous. It used to be where the guards outnumbered the people attending, and that's not the case anymore. But I mean, the amount of just people having a really great time, we couldn't find a chair to sit. I mean, it was packed. So, and the staff is doing a really good job. I saw the high-flying side. I did it when it first opened, but I don't know. I might be at the age, but it's a little bit too much. So, but it is a really unique amenity, just like Buffalo Dunes and our zoo. I'll tell you, a lot of these things that we as a community pay for together, but really benefit not only us but also people who come in and visit. The last thing I want to put a plug in for National Night Out is August 6th. It is probably it's a really great time to bring your neighborhood together and see the neighbors. We have a blast with our neighbors, and so some of them, that's the only time the whole year we see them, and so when they come up, you look and see how much you've changed over the years. So, but it's a really good time. And then having the police department and the fire department come by, it is a highlight. The kids just go crazy, and so it's a really neat. I just want to make sure, if you've never done it, it's super, super easy. You make simple invitations, go around to your neighbors, and I'm going to tell you, they will show up. And then when the fire and the police department come, it's a lot of fun. So just wanted to put a plug in for National Night Out, August 6th. Call now the police department and get that scheduled so they know to get those barricades up from the city. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Unruh. Commissioner Cessna.
Very good pre-meeting this morning about getting surveys for and replacing lead and copper piping. If you've seen the survey in your mail or online, we really encourage you to fill that survey out. That'll help the city in fulfilling its goal and meeting the needs of replacing the lead and copper in our community. Today is the last day to register to vote for the upcoming primary, which is August 6th. There is a county commission forum tonight at 6 o'clock at the county administrative building for the county district 2 and 3 commissioners that are looking to run for those two seats. There's also a forum on Thursday evening at 6 o'clock, again in the county administrative building for the sheriff people that are running for sheriff. So if you would like to be there and attend and listen to the comments from those people that are running, I highly encourage it. I did attend the food bank ribbon cutting this morning, a great addition to our community as well as our region, again becoming a distribution hub for that facility in Garden City. A great addition to our community. I also attended a listening tour event from Congressman Mann this morning as well. Always great to have the congressmen as well as senators when they do go around and visit our community, just to show off our community and just encourage them to be a part of our community when they're here. Last thing, I just wanted to encourage, it's getting closer to the time of starting school. The school district has an enrollment event going on today until 7 o'clock, I think, this evening. Tomorrow, 7 to 4 at Horace Good. If you've not enrolled your child in Garden City Public Schools yet, please do so by attending that event. And that's all I've got.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Cessna. Next, we'll have Commissioner Landgraf, sorry.
So on top of today being the last day to register to vote for the primary, just want to remind folks that July 22nd is the first day for early voting in person as well. Also in regard to the forums tonight and also on Thursday night, those are also streamed on Facebook by the Garden City Chamber. So if you're not able to make it in person, I highly recommend watching on Facebook. Great thing about Facebook too is you can go back and watch it later. So if you are busy, it's really a great way to go watch up and keep up to date on that forum. Also, thank you to the Garden City Area Chamber for putting that on as well. Also, just want to remind folks that the Finney County Fair starts on July 20th, and it goes through the whole week. Just highly encourage people to go out and participate in watching these different events, especially the youth events. I know as someone who grew up in 4-H, it really does mean a lot having people from the community go out and watch these events. And these events are very important for for them currently and also for their future. So, and also it was an honor to be part of the City Commission's car for the 4th of July parade. It was really neat seeing just how many people were out there, just gobs of people. So, and that is it.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Landgraf. Next, Commissioner Nguyen.
Yes, I was also on the July 4th riding in Mayor's vehicle. Kind of got me wanting to get a convertible too. Congratulations, Kansas Food Bank ribbon cutting ceremony. What a joy to have them here in town. A reminder that our town hall meeting is May 30th in the evening, so keep an eye on that. It's a great time for you to have any thoughts, any suggestions that you'd bring, excuse me, that you'd bring to the governing body. And then the National Night Out on August 6th. Lastly, this is a big one for our community, is the US 83 Communities Roadway Safety Plan. It is so crucial for our residents to fill out that survey so that Kansas as a whole can see how important it is and to actually formulate a plan that prioritizes the region of Garden City through US 83. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Nguyen. I won't repeat everything that was said. I think I'll first start with, I attended a ribbon cutting today at Kansas Food Bank, and they're kind of the new distribution center here in western Kansas, not just southwest Kansas, but they're serving 27 counties in the west region of Kansas. So that's a great opportunity for those smaller communities to access a food bank and not have to drive or rely on Wichita drivers to come out and deliver for those. So thank you to Brian Walker and his investment in Garden City and opening up a distribution center here. So, and that building is located north of 5 Points on Taylor Street. So also attended the banner auction. It was a great event. They had great food. If you're looking for someplace to eat, the Flat Mountain, they changed the name, and I'll get it wrong, but it was the Flat Mountain Brew House. Anyways, they've got 3 different food vendors in there, and they're awesome. Everything in there was great food. But the banner auction itself did bring in a lot of dollars for their event to help support that downtown vision and their Main Street vision. So thank you for all the participants and the artists who were involved in that. Great paintings. I think I probably bid on all of them, but luckily I got one. So that was my opportunity, and it was a great event. So also just touch on a little bit, we talked about zoo and cemetery and parks, and I think we do a great job. The staff at the city has done a tremendous job on upkeeps. The golf course out there is going under the next renovation portion of their renovations. So I would just like to add on there as far as parks goes. We did have a review earlier this spring or this summer, and we did have some parks that needed some upkeep and renovation. So I'd just like to keep that up to par with, along with our zoo and cemetery and golf course as well. So also in the 4th of July parade, I was the driver, the caddy, if you want to say, but it was not my vehicle. It was my father-in-law's. So I'd like to take credit for that, but yeah, we showed up first in the parade before Deb Euler in her convertible. So we had an orange Camaro convertible, and she had the red one. So, but it was great to see everybody there at attending the 4th of July parade. So, and thank you for our heroes out there who are protecting us with fireworks and with animals lost and whatever happened that week or those couple weeks. We just thank you for their service and their dedication to this community. There's lots of ways we can thank them. I just wish there was more options, but they need our support and our love. So I just like to express our thanks and gratitude towards them. Also this weekend, starting Friday, is the high school softball team's golf tournament out at Buffalo Dunes. So that's a great time to go out and support. They've had lots of sponsors. This is the only fundraiser that they do for the year to help cover costs and expenses for traveling softball to their games with softball. So good luck to them on the success of their golf tournament. And I believe I'd like to also just say thanks to those who are investing in Garden City. I know there's been some downtown dollars available so that they can utilize. We're grateful that they're spending that and using it towards just opportunities for people to renovate their buildings or just have a great building for community members to come in and visit and see the process and their success here in Garden City. So thank you to those investors, those developers, and we just ask that you keep investing in Garden City and talk about Garden City. There's lots of opportunities here, so look us up. Garden City is a place to be. So that's all I got.
Just right quick, I think I misspoke. The enrollment event for the school district goes until 6 o'clock this evening, and then 7 to 4 on tomorrow. So that's all I've got.
All right. Thanks for that correction there, Commissioner Cessna. All right. I believe that's all. So this concludes our meeting. Thank you.
No, there's the one meeting they took my